Ranger. A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger.
Dan Reed, who was spending his summer vacation with his uncle, the Lone Ranger, had gone to visit a schoolmate in St. Joseph, and it had been agreed that on his return, Tonto would meet him in the gold mining town of Eagle City and bring him to the masked man's new camp.
What do you want?
My name's Dan Reed. Is there any message for me?
Why should there be?
Well, I expected to meet a friend here in Eagle City, but I haven't seen him. I thought he might have left a note.
Not that I know of. You prospecting for gold?
No, sir.
Well, you're the first person I've met in months who wasn't gold crazy. How'd you like a job here in the office?
Well, thanks, sir, but I'm on my way to visit friends.
I'll pay good wages. This town's got gold fever so bad nobody wants to work. The fools think they can get rich overnight.
Thanks anyway, but...
What are you trying to do, Slater? Ruin us?
What are you talking about?
This is the third time this month you've raised your freight rates.
Yeah, we mine the gold, and you take all the profit by charging a fortune to haul it out.
Can't you get it through your thick skulls that when the cost of operating my wagons goes up, I have to raise the rates?
Just because you own the only freight line in this town, that's no reason you can push us miners around.
All right, Ronson. You get me drivers and guards who work for sensible wages, and I'll reduce the rates.
Well, I'm warning you. We're not paying these new rates.
Suit yourself. You can tote your gold out on muleback as far as I'm concerned.
I've got a better idea. I'll form my own freight line and charge honest prices.
You don't know anything about running a freight line.
I know enough to recognize crooked rates when I see them.
Don't you call me a crook.
I'll call you anything I like. I'm not scared of you or your threats or your hired gunmen.
Get out of here, Ronson.
All right. But I'm forming my own company, and there's nothing you can do to stop me, you thieving crook.
Why, you...
Stay out of this, son.
Somebody ought to stop them.
Slater's had this coming for a long time.
Lieutenant! Get out of the way. This isn't your affair, Injun.
Do not fight more. Him hurt.
And just what business is it of yours?
Me make it my business.
All right. Maybe I lost my temper. You've just seen the last of the Slater line. Come on, Slade.
He came just in time, Tonto. I tried to stop him, but that other fellow wouldn't let me.
Good thing you stay out of fight. That plenty big man. How you feel, mister?
I'm all right.
Me have medicine and saddlebag for cut on mouth. Me get.
I told you I'm all right. I can take care of myself. I always have and I always will. So just get out of here, Indian, and leave me alone.
Me only want to help.
I don't need any help from anybody. Is that clear?
Plenty clear. Come on, Dan.
He's not what you'd call a very likable fellow, is he?
While me wait for you, me have coffee at cafe. Me hear much talk about Slater. No one have good words for him.
They were fighting in there over the freight line rates he charges. The miners seem to think they're way too high.
We go to see Kemosabe now, Dan. You tell him what you hear.
I agree with you, Dan. Slater may well be abusing his transportation monopoly.
Most of the miners seem to think so.
In town, we hear plenty talk against Slater. Nobody seem to like him.
Now, we mustn't judge by that, Tonto. Successful men are often disliked by people who are jealous of their success.
Suppose Slater is a crook.
Now, that would be serious. Unfair monopoly that stifles competition can ruin a whole community.
If Ronson starts his freight line, he'll give Slater plenty of competition.
I may think there'll be trouble.
Dan, what sort of a job did Slater offer you?
Office work of some kind.
I think it'd be a good idea if you took that job.
That'd mean I'd have to live in town.
We'll have plenty of time to be together before school starts. I'd like you to keep an eye on Slater. If you get a chance, check his account books.
His account books?
Yes. Find out if his costs justify his high prices.
I'll do my best.
Good. If Slater's taking advantage of the miners, we must do something about it.
The next day, Dan accepted the job which Slater had offered and went to work in his office. And in the week that followed, Jake Ronson rented office space, purchased a wagon and horses, and announced freight service at half the price charged by the Slater line.
Crazy fool.
What'd you say, Mr. Slater?
I said Jake Ronson is a crazy fool. He can't haul freight at those rates.
They do seem kind of low.
Even you know he can't make a profit.
I'm no authority.
You don't have to be an authority. All you need is common sense. Wait till he makes his first run. He'll find out what he's up against.
I've already found out.
You've got a nerve coming here.
Now hold your horses, Slater. I brought the sheriff with me.
So I see.
Slater, I want to ask you about this.
What is it?
The letter. Jake received it this morning.
Jake Ronson, keep on with your freight line and you'll get a bullet in the back of your head.
At least you could have signed it.
Are you suggesting that I wrote this?
We're doing more than suggesting.
Stay out of this, Slade.
Mason, haven't you more important matters to attend to than a letter written by a malicious crank?
I'll decide what's important. Now, what do you know about it?
Nothing. I never even saw it before.
Who else would have reason to write it?
I don't know, but this is not my writing.
It isn't anybody's writing. It's printed in block capital letters.
Sheriff, I'm a taxpayer in this town, and Jake Ronson...
Now, wait a minute, Slater. So far, I've stayed out of this feud between you and Ronson, but I'm warning you. If there's any rough stuff, I'm going to step in. And I'm going to step in hard.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know whether you wrote this or not. Even if I thought so, I couldn't prove it. But if anything happens to Ronson, or if there's any attempt to wreck his freight line, you're going to be the first man I come after.
See you in the poorhouse.
Mr. Slater,
What do you want?
can I go on my lunch hour now? I'm meeting friends.
I don't care what you do.
Yes, sir.
Here come Dan.
Hello, Dan. We've been waiting for you.
Sorry I was delayed.
Anything happened?
Ronson received a letter threatening to kill him if he kept on with his freight line.
Was the letter from Slater?
Sheriff Mason seemed to think so, but I'm not so sure.
Why not?
Well, Mr. Slater's unpleasant, and he doesn't get along with people. But I don't think he'd do anything cowardly like writing that anonymous letter.
Maybe somebody else want to stop Ronson.
I don't know. But this morning I had a chance to check Mr. Slater's accounts. He hasn't been making much profit from the gold shipments.
Are you sure?
When you add up the wages he pays his drivers and his guards, he has to charge what he does to make any profit at all.
Yet Ronson plans only to charge half as much.
Bound to lose money. It doesn't make sense.
Maybe it does, Dan.
Now, how it makes sense, Kimasabi?
You see, Tonto, the average business exists for the purpose of making money. When a man starts a business, he knows that will lose money. There must be some other reason.
You think maybe Ronson crooked?
It's too soon to say that. I think we'd better have a talk with Sheriff Mason tonight.
Masked man.
I advise you not to do that, Sheriff.
What's the big idea?
I have reasons for wearing this mask. I'm as much on the side of the law as you are.
Well, who are you?
Perhaps this will help to identify me.
Silver Bullet. An Indian. What's your name?
Me, Tonto.
Then you're the Lone Ranger.
I am.
Holy smoke. The Lone Ranger. Well, what can I do for you?
How much do you know about Jake Ronson?
Oh, not too much. He came here a couple of months ago and filed a claim just like anybody else, only well, he didn't work at it very hard. I had him figured for a no account until he decided to fight Slater.
Where did Jake get the money to buy the wagon and the horses for his freight line?
Swade Nelson went into partnership with him. Some of the other miners chipped in to help him. I guess they figured it was worth it to get rid of Slater.
You don't like Slater, do you?
Who does? Ever since the gold strike, he's been making everybody pay through the nose to get their shipments up.
Suppose I told you Slater's prices are honest, that he hasn't been taking advantage of his monopoly.
Well, I wouldn't believe it.
I know that, Sheriff. But I suspect that Ronson...
Who was it, Ronson?
I couldn't see.
Come on, Tonto.
not too dark to find tracks.
We could have gone in any direction.
What happened?
Say, somebody took a shot at Jake.
You better let me have a look at that shoulder.
It'll be all right.
Who did it?
I didn't see him. It must have been Slater.
It was him, all right. What are you standing around here for? Why don't you go and arrest him? He's gone too far.
Wait a minute. Slater might have had a reason for wanting to get rid of Jake, but that don't prove anything.
Thanks, Mason.
We ought to string him up.
That's right.
Will you wait a minute? What are you doing in town this late?
I was catching up on some office work.
Probably trying to figure a way how to squeeze more out of us.
Were you in the office during the shooting?
I was.
I can vouch for that, Sheriff. I've been with Mr. Slater all evening.
Thank you, Dan.
That doesn't mean anything. He could have hired somebody to do it.
You'll have a hard time proving that, Ronson.
That's no use, Tonto. He's given us a slip.
We go back, talk with Sheriff?
Slater's in so deep now, it wouldn't do much good.
Come on. Let's get back to the office and I can fix that shoulder. Just a minute. I got something to say first. It's not my job to prove you tried to kill me. That's up to the sheriff. But I want to tell you something. My first freight wagon's going out of here tomorrow on schedule, regardless of what you do. And if anyone attempts to stop that wagon, you know who's to blame.
We're right behind you, Jake.
That's right. We'll get them if they try anything.
You bet. We'll keep our eye here. We got it. Slater in real trouble.
He'll be in worse trouble if anything happens to Jake's wagon.
You think anything happened?
I wouldn't be surprised. We'll trail the wagon tomorrow and find out. Come on.
Jake, I gotta hand it to you. You're a real actor.
Thanks, Wade. I guess I should have gone on the stage. You know, this looks like real blood, don't it?
He sure does. Come on, sit down. I gotta get you a bandage.
I'm going to need a sling for this arm.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's just worked out perfect. Everybody in town thinks Slater sent that letter I wrote, and now they think he tried to murder me.
And when that gold shipment is stolen tomorrow, they'll blame that on him, too.
Say, did you hide that other wagon up at the pass?
Yeah, we're all set. Don't worry.
You know, with this arm like this, nobody will ever suspect I had anything to do with the holdup.
You know, it tickles me the way you got the whole town on our side, when the fools are even helping us.
Like that circus guy says back east. There's one born every minute. We steal a fortune in gold, somebody else gets blamed for it, and we end up with a freight monopoly. You know, Swade, something tells me that we're going to have a mighty profitable day tomorrow.
Yep.
Despite Jake Ronson's boast that his first wagon would leave on schedule, it was afternoon before all was in readiness.
I don't like this delay, Ronson. It's going to be dark before I'm halfway out of the mountain.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about. You got the best gun guard in the country riding with you.
Well, I still don't like it. We're carrying an awful lot of gold.
Slater wouldn't dare try anything. Not after last night.
I'm not so sure about that. But even if he does, you're well protected.
Well, all right, Ronson. But next time, let's stick to the schedule.
Congratulations, Jake. It's a great day for Eagle City.
Thanks, Henry. Your gold's in good hands.
While we follow wagon, Lone Ranger's say for you to stay close to Slater.
I guess he wants me with him so I can alibi him in case something happens.
Me go tell Kimasabi wagon leave now.
Good luck.
Freight wagon on way out of town now, Kimasabi.
Good. We'll stay far enough behind it to be out of sight.
Won't take more than a half hour to load the gold into the wagon. We got all night to ride higher up into the mountains and bury it. We'll divvy up later.
You sure you got things figured?
Yeah. Don't forget to disguise your voice when we make the holdup.
Yeah. Hey, it's gonna be dark pretty soon. Don't you think it's about time for...
Keep your hands hands up and climb down. And don't try anything unless you want the same thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get the rope out of the other wagon.
You bet.
Are you all right?
I'm all right, but they got the guard.
Did you recognize either of them?
You're masked.
There isn't time to explain. Did you recognize those men?
No, they were masked, and it all happened so suddenly I didn't get a chance to look at them.
Guard badly wounded. Him need doctor.
You drive the wagon back to town. Tano will go with you and do what he can for the guard on the way.
You go after bandits alone?
Yes, Tano. I'll meet you later at the sheriff's office.
You be careful, Kimasabi.
Don't worry.
They'll be coming after us. We better split up.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
First, I'm going to bandage your arm, and then you're going to answer a few questions.
Darkness had fallen by the time the freight wagon reached Eagle City.
Sheriff! There's been a holdup! Sheriff Mason!
What happened, Tom?
Two men held us up. They shot the guard.
How about my gold? Did they take it?
No, the gold's safe. A masked man in this engine chased them away.
Oh, where's the sheriff?
Oh, he rode over to Porterville. We don't need no sheriff. This is more of Slater's dirty work.
If we wait around for Mason, Slater will get away.
You're right, Tom. This sort of thing has gone on long enough.
He ought to be lynched. Yeah. Don't get a rope.
What are we waiting for? Let's go.
You not take law in own hands.
What are you butting in for?
Lynching not good. Me get sheriff.
And let Slater get away? You're local.
No Injun's gonna tell me what to do.
Law say every man had right to trial by jury.
You're crazy.
Come on, we're wasting our time. Let's go after Slater.
Here's the rope. Come on, the Slater. Lynch him.
Come on out, Slater.
What do you want?
You know what we want, you murdering crook.
Have you all gone crazy? What's he talking about?
About your holding up the gold shipment, shooting a guard.
I don't know anything about it.
Listen, I've been with Mr. Slater all day. He hasn't had anything to do with any holdup.
My wagon was held up by two men, and they were working for you.
That's a lie. Don't listen. Don't do anything.
Wait, please, listen. I swear he's innocent.
If you think so much of Slater, maybe you ought to hang with him.
Yeah, this is the second time you've tried to alibi for him.
Get another rope.
Don't move, Swade, or you'll be shot. Tano, what happened? Where is everybody?
Kimasabi.
I caught one of the crooks and made him talk. All we have to do now is to find Ronson and turn him over...
Him go to lynch Slater.
Lynching?
Them go to Slater's house on North Road.
Stay here and guard Swade. He's tied, but don't take any chances.
Let me watch him.
You've got to listen. We didn't even know about the holdup. You're murdering two innocent men.
Quit whining, Slater, and try and die like a man.
No matter what you think of me, Dan had nothing to do with it.
We think different.
Oh, you fools, you blind, stupid fools. Can't you see what he's doing?
Yeah, he's getting ready to string you up.
You all set, boys?
Yeah, we're ready.
Sure, we're set.
All right, take care of him. I'll take care of Slater.
He's masked.
Who is he?
No, don't. He's the man I told you about, the one who saved the gold.
Who's in charge here?
What do you want?
I want to stop you men from doing something you'll regret the rest of your lives. These men are innocent.
That's your opinion, mister.
Who else would want to kill Jake and wreck his freight line?
I captured one of the outlaws who robbed the gold freight. His name was Swade Nelson. He's made a full confession.
What?
That's right, Ronson. He said you were his partner in the holdup.
You're crazy. Why would I hold up my own wagon?
You expected Slater here to be blamed for stealing the gold. That's why you wrote that threatening note to yourself and pretended you'd been wounded.
You're lying. Don't listen to him. He's one of Slater's gunmen.
That should be easy to prove. Let's see the wound in your shoulder.
Well, I...
What's the matter, Jake? Let's take a look at it.
All right, here.
Hold it, Jake. The only place you're going is to the sheriff's office.
The men who were members of the mob asked me to tell you how ashamed they are.
I hope they've learned that violence is never a substitute for law.
Well, I guess we've all learned a lesson now that Jake's been exposed as a crook.
Honest men make honest profit.
And a crook promises something for nothing.
Yes, we should have been suspicious of Ronson right off the bat.
I'm not very good at thanking people for things, but, well, I guess you know what I'm trying to say.
You don't have to say anything, sir.
Yes, I do. If I'd been more helpful and understanding and tried to get along with people, Ronson would never have been able to make the miners believe that I was taking advantage of them.
Well, that's true. But you have to be more than a good businessman to be a good citizen. Bye, Mr. Slater. Adios, Sheriff.
A most remarkable man, Sheriff.
Remarkable? Well, I'd say he's a lot more than that. He's the Lone Ranger.
Hail Silver!